5 seconds. Start. Foreign policy cannot be divorced from a country's internal policy. Any country and any government, any political party must decide that it believes conviction or belief. What is our foreign policy? Some people take the word non-alignment and think that is the whole of our foreign policy. In a way, it is not the word non-alignment, but what non-alignment stands for, namely that we believed in independently judging all issues. We do not wish to be tied to any group or to any country. We are today nearer to 21st century than we are to the 19th, but unfortunately we find that over large portions of the world, thinking is still very much in the 19th century. The world has changed. We helped to change it because of India's freedom movement, because of India becoming free, and other countries in Asia and Europe becoming free. This has been the greatest change in the world. Although it was obvious to us that we would become free and that our freedom would lead to the freedom of other countries, this process came somewhat as a shock to the colonial powers. For some time, they seemed to be stunned by that shock, but it has not taken long for them to recover. And since they have recovered, we see another very subtle changes becoming over the world, rather dangerous change, colonialism. This has actually happened in some places, and in other places there have been attempts that it should happen. Therefore, the difficulties before the developing countries are still very great, and we can face them not merely by idealism, not merely by sentimentalism, but by very clear thinking and hard-headed analysis of the situation. I am glad that the seminar has had the benefit of the analysis of the various people who have spoken here about different problems in different new freedom. The United Nations has become progressively more representative, but we must remember that even now it is not fully so. Colonialism still has its strong footholds in some parts of the world, and racialism are still prevalent, especially in Africa. The United Nations has often been criticized for its structure and for some of its activities. The structure of the United Nations when it started was weighted in favor of Europe and the Americas. It did not seem to us to be fair to the countries of Asia and Africa, but we appreciated the difficulties of the situation and did not process for any changes. With the growth of the United Nations and more countries coming in, its structure today has become still more unbalanced. Even so, we wish to proceed slowly and with agreement and not to press for any change which would involve an immediate amendment of the character and the raising of heated controversies. Unfortunately, we live in a split world which is constantly coming up against the basic assumptions of the United Nations. We have to bear with this and try to move even more forward to the conception of full cooperation between nations. That cooperation does not and must not mean any domination of one country by another, any coercion or compulsion forcing a country to line up with another country. Each country has something to give and something to take from others. The moment coercion is exerted on a country, not only is its freedom impaired but its growth suffers. We have to acknowledge that there is great diversity in the world and that this diversity is good and is to be encouraged so that each country may grow and its creative impulse might have full play in accordance with its own genius. Hundreds and thousands of years of history have conditioned us in our respective countries, and our roots go deep down into the soil. If these roots are pulled out, we wither. If these roots remain strong and we allow the winds from four quarters to blow in upon us, they will yield branch, flower and fruit. Many of the speakers from this forum have surveyed the world scene and spoken on a variety of problems. I would like to concentrate on what I consider the basic problem of all. My mind is naturally filled with problems of my own country and our passionate desire to develop and to put an end to the poverty and low standards of living which have been a curse to hundreds of millions of when we counted up. We found that it was not even true to say that we had voted the Soviet Union on more occasions than we have voted with the other countries of the Western Bloc.